So let's dive in. You hear about what AI can do all the time, right? But how do you actually build it? Today, we're going to talk about a quiet revolution that's happening in the skills you need to create real AI. The rules of the game are changing, and honestly, understanding these new rules is your first step into this incredible field. I mean, you see it everywhere. AI is shaking up entire industries, creating possibilities we never dreamed of, and it's changing the very way we use technology. And yeah, the potential is absolutely huge, but there's a world of difference between just talking about AI and actually building the stuff that works in the real world. So, what does it actually take? What skills do you really need to have to go from just a cool idea to a live AI app that a real business can count on? If you're curious about breaking into this field, this is probably the most important question you can ask yourself. And here's the thing, it's probably not what you think. The old rule book, it's kind of being thrown out the window. There's a revolution happening right now, and that's creating a massive opportunity for anyone who's ready to learn the new way of doing things. Okay, so first, let's talk about the big problem here. I like to call it the AI skills chasm, and it's this huge gaping hole between what's being taught in a lot of traditional programs and what the industry is desperately screaming for right now. And wow, this number, it really tells the whole story. Get this, an IDC survey found that a staggering 88% of corporate AI projects never even launch. They get stuck in these digital lab environments, developers call them notebooks, and they just never see the light of day as a real working product. So, why? Why is that failure rate so massive? It's not like we're short on brilliant people or amazing ideas. Nope. The real issue is that gap, that chasm between the classroom and the real world of production. And hey, this isn't just companies complaining. The academic world sees it too. You've got researchers like Shahid and Mishra pointing out that, yeah, the demand for AI pros is through the roof, but schools are really struggling to teach the right kind of practical, hands-on skills. And you can see that divide right here. On the left, you've got the traditional way, lots of theory, high-level ideas, and projects that live and die inside a laptop. But on the right, that's what the industry needs. People with hands-on technical skills who can actually launch and monitor live systems, and crucially, who can prove they're making the company money. You know, that return on investment, or ROI. So, this huge gap is forcing a change, a revolution, really, in how we think about building AI. It's a whole new mindset called production first, and it's all about starting with the end in mind from day one. And believe me, the difference is like night and day. The old way is loaded with theory, playing around with these perfect, clean little toy data sets. The new production-first way, it's about building real systems with what are called APIs, basically live connection points that other software can talk to. You wind up with a portfolio of actual working projects you can show off to an employer, proving you can deliver. So here's the big takeaway, the huge mental shift you have to make. It's not just about building the smartest model anymore. The real hero now is the entire system, a system that's live, stable, that you're watching for bugs and costs, and that is actually solving a real-world problem for someone. Okay, so if we're all in on building these production-first systems, what's in the toolkit? Well, two of the absolute biggest concepts you need to get your head around right now are RAG and agentic AI. You know, a developer I saw online put it perfectly. These large language models, things like ChatGPT, they're incredible at reasoning, but their memory? It's terrible. They only know what they were trained on, which might be months or even years old, and sometimes they just make stuff up. It's called hallucinating. This is where RAG comes in, and it's such a brilliant solution. Think of it like giving the AI an open book test. Instead of making it remember everything from its training, you let it look up the answer from a trusted source, like your company's latest documents, right before it speaks. Suddenly, the AI is way more accurate and a whole lot more trustworthy. So if RAG gives the AI a library card, agentic AI gives it an entire to-do list and the tools to get it done. This is really the next big step. Instead of just answering one question, an AI agent can take on a big goal, like, hey, plan a marketing campaign for our new product. And it'll break that down into steps, use tools like searching the web, and actually execute that plan all by itself. It goes from being a passive helper to an active doer. Okay, so once you understand these tools, you start facing some really practical choices. And one of the biggest questions developers ask is, should I use RAG or this other thing called fine-tuning? Let's break that down. This table lays it all out pretty clearly. So you've got RAG on one side, on the other is fine-tuning. You can think of fine-tuning as sending the AI back to school. You're not just giving it new facts, you're retraining it to change its personality or its style. And as you can see, that process can be super expensive and take a long, long time. But it's excellent at changing the AI's fundamental behavior. So the rule of thumb is actually pretty simple. You use RAG when you need to give the AI new knowledge. You use fine-tuning when you need to change its behavior. Let's say you're building a customer service bot. You'd use RAG to feed it the latest info on your products. But you'd use fine-tuning to make sure it always talks in your company's super friendly and helpful brand voice. See the difference? All right, so we've talked about the problem, that big skills chasm, the new production-first mindset, and the key tools. But what about you? If you're starting from scratch, how do you actually learn this stuff? What's the path forward? Well, a modern production-first approach gives you a super clear roadmap. You can literally start with just some basic Python skills. And then in a matter of months, not years, you're not just doing homework problems. You're launching real systems on a major platform like AWS and even calculating their business value. And pretty soon, you're designing those autonomous AI agents we were just talking about. It's a straight line from beginner to architect. I love this quote from a developer who went through this shift. It so perfectly captures the entire mindset. Instead of always asking, how can I make my model smarter? The question becomes, how can I give my model better information? It's not always about having the fanciest algorithm. It's about building a smarter system around it. And that really brings us to the final, most exciting part of all this. See, the big question isn't if AI will change the world anymore. That's a done deal. The real question is, what problems are you going to solve? Now that you know the secret isn't just about making AI smarter, but about giving it the right information at exactly the right time.